plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent the message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pits, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Monday Night Meltdown has begun. SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM, Channel 159. The Oklahoma City Thunder are NBA champions, but we already know that, and we will break it down a little bit more in a couple of moments. We'll get into the NBA draft. NBA draft just days away, and I would say besides the National Hockey League, but it's amazing how little hype the NBA draft actually gets in today's day and age. It's like, oh yeah, the draft is in a couple of days, right? You know, we spend like all year long breaking it down as far as the NFL draft is concerned. NBA draft, there's some prop opportunities, but we'll break it down this evening. But let's get after it right now as far as live action and games that are coming up, in progress, and all that other stuff. Major League Baseball. The party has already started tonight in Major League Baseball. And you know what? I like the over tonight, over 9. You guys know me. I don't play a lot of baseball overs. But tonight, the Red Sox and the Halos, the total was 9. They've scored 6 runs already in this baseball game. We're in the bottom of the first inning. Boston put a 3 spot up, and the Angels have responded with a 3 spot, and they're not even done yet. The reason we like this game, my boy Walker Buehler. Buehler's pretty good at home, right? For whatever reason, he's good at Fenway, which you figure, all right, Fenway's a tough, it's a hitter's park. But Walker Buehler on the road has really gotten lit up. He's got an ERA at 9.23 on the road this year. And there's a pretty big sample size, 26 innings on the road. He's given up 8 home runs coming into tonight. So Walker Buehler on the road has pretty much been a gas can. And we've already got 6 runs on the board in this baseball game. Soccer, we're at the half right now, but the second half, and the Halos have just taken a 4-3 lead for the record. We'll get you caught up today with all the Major League Baseball, but soccer, we're at the half. Inter Miami and Palmeiras are about to start the second half right now. Don't look now, but Inter Miami are winning 1-0. They were actually plus 400 on the money line tonight. Not a lot of respect for the MLS and Inter Miami this evening. And you throw in the fact, where's the game tonight? It's in Miami. But unlike a Dolphin game, there's not an empty seat in the house tonight at Hard Rock Stadium. Although it should be noted, it's mostly Brazilian fans. The South American fans have carried this tournament as far as ticket sales are concerned. And like I said, it's a raucous atmosphere in there. But the Palmeiras fans are disappointed so far. Inter Miami up 1-0. There's a lot of different scenarios, like knockout and all this. Like basically both teams, the draw was only minus 170 tonight in this match, which is incredibly low for a soccer game. Like typically a soccer match, you know, You know, in the MLS, it's usually like plus 275, plus 285, sometimes plus 300, plus 220, you know what I mean? So, you know, plus 170, really, that's a low number, all right, for a soccer draw. And we bit the bullet on it, and like the odds makers thinking, listen, both these teams really only need a draw here. Like, they're both going to move on pretty much, you know. The only way these teams weren't going to move on tonight was if FC Porto rolled Al from Cairo. And FC Porto, you could argue, been one of the biggest disappointments in this tournament. I know they didn't have a great year this year, but, you know, FC Porto have had a problem here. And FC Porto are about to get bounced, but you figure FC Porto would be able to win this game. They were down 1-0, then they tied it 1-1, then they gave up a penalty kick late in the first half. They're trailing 2-1. So we jumped in. We were playing the unders here. I got the under 2.5 in this Miami game. We lost the under 2.5 in the Porto game. And Palmeiras starts off strong here in the second half. They didn't score, but they just had a big opportunity. Inter Miami's going to look to shut this thing down, right? They're up 1-0 right now. They're good with a draw. Yeah, if they win the group, but you know what I mean? They're not going to get too reckless and careless. It should be noted, too, Palmeiras, even though they're down 1-0, they were all over Inter Miami. It's a lot like hockey. They were all over them. They didn't score. And Suarez, being the stud that he is, had this wicked pass. He just sort of kicked the ball right up the middle of the field. And Buddy on Miami caught up to it and scored on a breakaway. So that's how they scored. For the most part, like Palmeiras have had a lot more pressure than Inter Miami have had. But, hey, that's sports. That's soccer. That's hockey, right? It's 1-0 right now for Inter Miami. The second half has just started. I still think it goes under the 2.5. My feeling is I think Palmeiras probably still tie this. You know, we liked Inter Miami coming into this thing. I was thinking plus 400 is a lot. Should have just taken them plus half a goal. That way, in case they won. You know, like I said, still early. I think Palmeiras probably score here, but I don't think there's going to be a ton of goals in the second half. So we played the under 138. Something I regret not playing in this game is the cards. This referee, you could take a baseball bat out and hit the dude across the kneecaps like Galuli did with Kerrigan. He ain't going to call anything on it. He's legit, like, just not calling anything. Right? He's one of these refs. He's like, play on. Dude, Inter Miami, like, literally tackled a dude in the box. Like, it was like a corner kick. Two dudes on Miami, like, literally just, like, you know, shoved the guy to the ground, basically. And the ref said, play on. And I was like, man, I should have bet under cards in this. This ref ain't calling anything. But the odds makers, when it comes to soccer, you can't put anything past them. The card in game right now is 2.5. There's only one card in the game, despite the fact that they murdered each other for the first, like, 30 minutes of this game. It's slowed down a little bit as far as the physical play, but here's Palmeiras with a corner kick right now. So, yeah, like I said, I like the under 2.5. I wouldn't be surprised if the game still ends up in a draw here. As far as this Porto game is concerned, it's gotten all weird. And FC Porto, quite frankly, aren't that good, as we've come to the conclusion. So they're losing 2-1 right now. They need to win. They need goals. So I imagine it kind of opens up a little bit, even though we played a same-game, in-game parlay here, under 5.5. It's minus 225 right now in the Porto game. And we played it with under 3.5 in this Miami game. You know what? I double-clicked Porto by accident, and I didn't realize it until, like, the game. Like, the game was on, and it was 1-0, and I looked. I'm like, what's going on here? Why do I have this and that? And then I see I had it twice. I'm like, oh, God. I legit, like, don't even remember doing it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I got FC Porto twice. I'm like, God, this is a disaster. And they're losing 1-0. And then, boom, they scored. And I had an opportunity to get out of it. I was like, all right, it's 1-1 right now. I could sort of, you know, soften the blow here. But I was like, they're going to win. And then I didn't. And a minute later, it was like a freaking penalty kick. So it is what it is. We'll try to get it back in game. You know, the salvage operation has begun here this evening on a Monday Night Meltdown. Our boy Mo Khan will step up and in tonight. We'll talk about the NBA draft and the NBA Finals, CFL football. We'll get into Major League Baseball. George Kurtz joins us this evening. Joe Madden, the Ranger Red and Cam Stewart in the house this evening. So we got a full house on the Monday Night Meltdown. The Oklahoma City Thunder win the championship. And although the series as a whole, and it's not surprising, right? The series as a whole, the television ratings were not great because you had small TV markets in Indianapolis and in Oklahoma City, right? But last night, Game 7 actually had nearly 17 million people who watched the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Pacers. Would they have still won if Halliburton didn't get hurt? Yeah, probably, right? Yeah, they probably still would have won. We're talking about a dominant home team, but it is a shame that it went down the way that it did for the Pacers. To get that far and then to lose the way that you did is a very painful way to lose. Bring it.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Let's roll. The Monday Night Meltdown has begun, and we've got ourselves a goal just moments in to the second half at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, a building that I know very well. Hell, remember when that black cat ran on the field at the Giant or Jet game, whatever it was? I actually knew that cat. Like, that's how well I knew the facility. I'm like man,
knew that cat.
I'm like, yeah, I actually knew the cat, Cam. I was like, man, I see this cat every day. Like, yeah, like the cat.
Not a human. I knew the cat.
Even the cat, they were like, oh, there's a black cat here. I wonder where it came from. Like, wonder where it came from. There's like 100 of them that live on the grounds. It's a racetrack. They keep the mice and the rats away and stuff. There's like MetLife, literally, and behind MetLife, there's this like swampy grass area. It's the Meadowlands, right? There really is swamp there and stuff. And there's this area and stuff, and somebody told me, they go, bro, there's like literally like 500 cats that live like in that little bush area there. And I'm like, no, not that many. They're like, sometime take a look in there. And once I look over, I'm like, oh my God, it's like an army of them. And here's another goal. Every time Porto score, Cairo respond with a goal. So Porto tied the game at 2, and now Cairo opens it up. Man, I was scared this game would just get crazy and stupid opening up. Porto need a bunch of goals. They're losing, but they're a bunch of losers, and they can't beat anybody. So they're losing to Cairo right now. FC Porto, it's 3-2 Cairo. In-game totals up to 6.5, plus 110 right now. Meanwhile, though, we're still 1-0 here at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Inter Miami up on Palmeiras from the Brazilian League. They're both looking to advance here, but they're playing for first place. A draw is okay with both of them as well. The odds makers thought that the draw was going to be in play. That's why it was only plus 170. So it's 1-0 still for Inter Miami in the 55th minute here. And the Palmeiras fans are starting to get a little frustrated as they're the ones that have filled up Hard Rock here to watch their team lose so far. We got the Raging Red and Cam Stewart in the house. Cam, I doubt that you have a bunch of action on these soccer games, but we do have Major League Baseball in action. D-backs smoking the White Sox right now, 10-0. I don't play a lot of overs, Cam, but I play the over 9 tonight, Angels and Red Sox. Yep. It's 5-3, dude, in the top of the second. In-game total, everybody, is 15.5 right now. Washington and San Diego are scoreless at the bottom of the third. San Diego are minus 210. Washington plus 165. Total 6.5. And Pittsburgh were up like 4-1 before. It's 5-4 Pittsburgh now. Top of the ninth inning. They're minus 700. The Brew Crew to come back is plus 450. What about tonight's baseball, Cam? What do you want?
Great call by you. I was doing in-game live, and I'm like, wow, the Red Sox are up 3-0. Like, should we take the Angels live? And they scored 5 in the bottom of the first inning, 8 runs. So good call. I'm also on the over in that game, Gabe, and have the Angels parlayed with the Padres. Can't lie. Thought the Padres game would be over 2 with the Angels, but it's 0-0 in the bottom of the third. So I need San Diego, and I have a parlay with the Angels and the San Diego Padres tonight. No action in soccer. I looked at it, and I just picked my spots at the baseball board tonight, and hopefully things go well.
We talked about it last week about how the hockey season wasn't fully done yet. We still had the Calder Cup going on, but we can tell you that the AHL season is now done. The Abbotsford Canucks win the Calder Cup, and it's the first time that they've won the Calder Cup. The Vancouver Canucks have never won the Stanley Cup before, so it's actually the first time the Canuck organization has ever won before. And it's good to know that at least the Canucks have some prospects and some players that'll be able to help their team moving forward. And we had news today in the National Hockey League. We'll get into this with Kurtz a little bit later on. But Zegras Cam got traded from the Anaheim Ducks to the Philadelphia Flyers. Some people are a little bit surprised by the deal, but he was a free agent coming up after this year. And the Ducks are talking a big game right now. Like, their owner said, like, we basically guarantee that we're going to make the playoffs next year. There's a lot of buzz about, they're in the market for everybody and watch out for the Ducks, come July 1st and free agency and all this type of stuff. And they want to become a more complete team. And they feel that Zegras, all right, good for you. You know what I mean? You have a couple of highlight reel goals, but you're not a complete hockey player. They want complete hockey players on that team. It's funny because a lot of people are ripping the Ducks. Oh, what are they doing? And this is a weird move. I looked at it, and I was like, yeah, this is a team that wants to win. And they're like, yeah, good for you, kid, and your little Michigan goals and stuff like that. But we don't want this here. Like, we want complete hockey players. I don't have a problem with the Ducks did here.
No, and the thing is, if you really look at the deal, look at the draft picks they got back, and you just talked about it. Zegras is an offensive player, but he's a defensive liability, and that's been Anaheim's problem, right, Gabe? They have aging guys. Like, Gibson's going to be done. You know what I mean? Goaltending is an issue right there, so they're stockpiling some picks. So Philadelphia wants to win now with Mishkov, and then you bring in Zegras, but, defensively he has a lot to work on, and Anaheim gets a good player and a couple draft picks out of the deal, so I don't mind the deal for the Ducks at all. I think it's actually good for them.
Well, Philadelphia is years away from winning, but they need to stockpile talent. That's why they bring Zegras in. Is he talented? Yes. And they don't have a lot of offensive talent on that team. It's one of these deals where I think it was good for both teams, actually. The Ducks, though, are going to be in tough. Like, they should kind of, I get it. You're in Los Angeles, so it's attractive to some players. But there's a lot of other. Put it this way: the free agent class this year, the National Hockey League, is not very deep, right? So if you're the Ducks, I wouldn't be getting my fans' hopes like all this big hopes up because all the teams are going to be going at like everybody's going after Mitch Marner, right? Yeah, there's a ton of teams going after Mitch Marner, right?
Look what the Kings did. They took Edmonton like deep in that series.
Well, that's the thing. Like, people would be like, if if you had to choose between the Kings and the Ducks, you'd probably choose the Kings, right? That's the thing. Like, they're competing with a team in their own city too.
Another thing is San Jose's getting better too. They have Smith and Scalabrini, so they're going to be better. They're
but they're not.
No, they're not there
they're
yet.
They're still bad.
Yeah, they're bad. But they're building. That's what you got to do as a bad team. You got.
They have the second pick in the NHL draft, Cam.
Hey, good for the SJ Sharks. He's going to gloat up.
In other words, we had this debate during the season when you said the Sharks were good. I said, no, the Sharks will be good in a couple of years. They're not good now. They have good players. They have some good young players, but the facts don't lie. They're the second worst team in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, they covered multiple puck lines. That's all, but they're bad.
Yes, they covered a puck line every now and then. Yes.
Here we go at Oakmont. Let's start with the course. What do we know about this course? How long is the rough, and does course history come into effect for you this week?
The U.S. Open has always been billed as the most difficult test of golf there is on the planet. And I tell you what, it's often labeled as the most difficult golf course in the world is Oakmont.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
We don't want you playing here. Can you move positions? Do something else. He starts the season like 0 for 150, it felt like, and finally finds himself in a groove at the plate, hitting 272. 15 home runs on the season? Now he's shipped to San Francisco.
What is management going to do? Nobody who's paying you $313.5 million is going to hear anything from you. They'll figure out a way to get rid of you, and that's exactly what they did.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Every 5 days, it's really exciting when Skeens pitches, and it's terrible watching him pitch because every time he pitches, they don't score.
Having him hit the lineup probably would actually help when he pitches. There's no way to do it because you can't, but yeah, it's beyond frustrating. And the numbers will tell you, the books have adjusted.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Dialing it back to his old days with St. Louis and Arizona. Buy or sell, Goldie will finish top 7 in fantasy first baseman.
No, I'm going to say no. I think he'll fall off. Older player here, he'll be top 10, but not top 7 here. Top 10, I would say, yeah, I'd buy it. Top 7, I'm going to say no here. I think he'll put up decent numbers here. Not as good as he was. I don't think he's going to bat 340, 350 all year long.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's do this thing. The Monday Night Meltdown continues. So as we were saying, the Abbotsford Canucks just won the Calder Cup, and we cashed a couple of tickets on the way out with them. We had a parlay, the Canucks plus 1.5 and the over 9 in the baseball game. It was a weird random parlay, but great start for the baseball game. And the Canucks won 3-2, and I took under 6.5 after they were losing 1-0. I lost on Saturday, though. And in typical sort of Canuck fashion, they played at home, and they had an opportunity to win the Calder Cup in front of their fans, and they didn't. They ended up losing the game. It was pretty wild. I tweeted out the ticket prices for an AHL game about an hour outside of Vancouver in Abbotsford, British Columbia on Saturday night. Tickets, the cheapest ticket to get in the building on Saturday night in Abbotsford was $389.
Wow. That's nuts.
Yeah, for an AHL game, $389.
That's unreal.
And Luis Suarez just scored. Inter Miami are up 2-0 right now on Palmeiras. And wow, Inter Miami are going to win the group. Not only they're going to advance, and why this is important for them. Good look for them. They spent a lot of money on Messi. They haven't won any MLS tournament, any MLS trophies or anything. The Whitecaps lit them up in the CONCACAF Champions Cup in the quarterfinals or semifinals, whatever it was. And like I said, they haven't had, you know what I mean? They've had a lot of success, though. Like, they've made a lot of money and, you know, they've won games, but they haven't won any trophies. Yeah, this would be a good look for MLS, a good look for them. And they're now winning 2-0 over Palmeiras. Wow. What a performance by Inter Miami here tonight. Palmeiras are a good side. And also now they avoid Paris Saint-Germain as well. Like, the loser of this game has to play PSG. And also FC Porto are really screwing things up here because they would have a shot here if they would win and score a bunch of goals. We should note it's 3-3 right now with FC Porto and Cairo. They're playing at MetLife Stadium, and I'll just throw it out here right now. I would expect Portugal to play in New Jersey in the World Cup and in Toronto. Watch what's going to happen. Like, FIFA's not dumb. They're not dumb that they put this Portuguese team in New Jersey. Newark and Toronto, two biggest Portuguese communities in North America. So I'd almost bet that right now. Like, Portugal is going to play at MetLife. They're going to play a game or two at BMO. They'll play one in BMO in Toronto. Joe Madden, with us. Joe, baseball going on here tonight. Any late night baseball bets for you?
Yeah, I was looking at higher scoring games, and we're starting to get that out of the Boston Red Sox, LA Angels. We've got a ton of runs in that first inning, and the total now 14.5. It was a 9.5. I don't think things will slow down here. We're only the top of the third. The Washington Nationals and the Padres, though, I expected so much more inconsistent pitchers out there between Parker and Kolak, and I expected more runs. We've only got one out of the Washington Nationals. It's the top of the fourth. They do have runners on second and third, and things did just lock up for that total. I'm still looking for this one to go over. It was a 6.5 before it locked up. I'd nicely take that to the over. And the Padres, they were minus 170 favorite. They're now plus 176 before they took that away, underdog, and I'd take a shot on them too.
Now it's plus 320. Washington just took a 2-0 lead, Cam, in this game.
Yeah, it's a problem. I got the over, but I got San Diego. So I need a comeback by the Padres. Very disappointing. Kolak's a stiff, and so is I'm actually surprised that the Padres haven't got any runs off Parker, but a lot of baseball to be played, as Joe says.
Yeah, 5-3 for the Angels right now. We're in the top of the third, so there's already been 8 runs. In-game total sits at 14.5 right now. The Angels are minus 390 on the money line. The Red Sox plus 290. Nationals are minus 500. San Diego up to plus 350 right now. You can get San Diego, guys, plus 2.5 at plus 100. But the problem is right now the Nationals, like Joe said, Joe, they got something going here. They've scored 2 runs, and they got runners on first and third right now with nobody out. In-game total up to 9.5 right now in that game.
Yeah, so even if Parker does strong in the first 5-6 innings, depending on how long he stays, we know this bullpen has had their struggles. I do still think the Padres can come back. We saw the Washington Nationals this weekend, actually just yesterday, give up all those runs. The Dodgers coming back in, and the Dodgers were like a plus 250 underdog after the first couple innings there. So I think the Padres can do the same thing.
So we got a 2-0 game in Miami. We're to the 68th minute right now. And dear God, every effing time, I was just going to say, all right, what's Porto up to? Every time Porto scores, Cairo scores after. 4-3 Cairo right now. It was 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3. Unbelievable, Porto.
Here we go at Oakmont. Let's start with the course. What do we know about this course? How long is the rough, and does course history come into effect for you this week?
The U.S. Open has always been billed as the most difficult test of golf there is on the planet. And I tell you what, it's often labeled as the most difficult golf course in the world is Oakmont.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
We don't want you playing here. Can you move positions? Do something else. He starts the season like 0 for 150, it felt like, and finally finds himself in a groove at the plate, hitting 272. 15 home runs on the season? Now he's shipped to San Francisco.
What is management going to do? Nobody who's paying you $313.5 million is going to hear anything from you. They'll figure out a way to get rid of you, and that's exactly what they did.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Every 5 days, it's really exciting when Skeens pitches. And it's terrible watching him pitch because every time he pitches, they don't score.
Having him hit the lineup probably would actually help when he pitches. There's no way to do it because you can't. But, yeah, it's beyond frustrating. And the numbers will tell you, the books have adjusted.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Dialing it back to his old days with St. Louis and Arizona. Buy or sell, Goldie will finish top 7 in fantasy first baseman.
No, I'm going to say no. I think he'll fall off. Older player here, he'll be top 10, but not top 7 here. Top 10, I would say I'd buy it. Top 7, I'm going to say no here. I think he'll put up decent numbers here. Not as good as he was. I don't think he's going to bat 340, 350 all year long.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, Palmeiras is really starting to press right now, down 2-0. Inter Miami up 2-0 in the 71st minute. I am Gabriel Morency, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. Al Cairo still leads right now over FC Porto 4-3. It's been a wild game tonight at MetLife Stadium. And speaking of MetLife Stadium, actually, the New York Jets, Woody Johnson just bought Crystal Palace, the soccer team in the EPL. So our condolences to you poor bastard Crystal Palace fans out there. The New York Jets are now running things. That's going to work out well.
Yeah, that's got relegation written all over it.
It can't be good. Like, you know what I mean?
No, that's not good.
Can't be good. All these EPL teams are all owned by NFL owners now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, so speaking of crazy, if we can, Tommy, let's roll the best of X, our first best of X of the evening after last night's NBA Finals. So SGA joined some rarefied company last night in becoming just the 4th player ever to win the scoring title, the MVP, and the NBA Finals and the NBA Finals MVP, joining Kareem, Magic Johnson, and Michael Jordan. Not bad company to be in, but it's pretty crazy. All 3 MVPs. So the MVP, of course, was SGA, who's from Hamilton, Ontario. The MVP of the Stanley Cup, Conn Smythe, they call it, Sam Bennett. He's from outside the Toronto area, a place called Holland Landing, actually right where Connor McDavid is from. It's like the next town over from where Connor McDavid is from, in Newmarket. And Freddie Freeman, who a lot of people don't realize is Canadian. Freddie Freeman is actually a dual citizen, but he plays for Team Canada, like in the World Baseball Classic. Like he thinks of himself as Canadian. He is dual, but he's close with his mother. His mother's Canadian. And like I said, he plays for Team Canada in the World Baseball Classic. So all Canada's missing there is a Super Bowl or an NFL MVP. I don't know. I don't think Chuba Hubbard's going to win the MVP.
Yeah. Carolina Panthers, Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, maybe the Panthers get to the Super Bowl and Chuba Hubbard scores like 2 touchdowns. Like,
if that happens, it's not happening.
I'm thinking, I don't know, that Joshua Palmer kid from the Chargers just signed with the Bills. Maybe they can make the Super Bowl. He has like 4 touchdown catches, but then they'll just give it to Josh Allen, Joe. Yeah. All right, so Curtis Rourke, he's on the San Francisco 49ers. He might be the one, actually. Curtis Rourke. Yeah, Brock Purdy gets hurt. the backup gets hurt and whatever. Curtis Rourke comes in, and he's just the next San Francisco great, like, that comes in and steps in. You know, maybe that's the path, but it's pretty impressive. NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball, all 3 MVPs of the finals, Joe, are Canadian right now.
And Chase Brown of the Cincinnati Bengals, he's pretty good, Gabe. Maybe Joe Burrow and them going to roll. Actually, that one would be the closest, I would think. If I were to bet on one, I'd go Chase Brown or Palmer.
Yeah, but if the Bengals win, they'll give it to Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
Well, they will, of course.
Touchdowns, yeah,
Right?
probably. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive for Canada, that's for sure. So, but look at us, the 3 of us all Canadian too.
Well, it's impressive for Ontario. They're all 3 are from Ontario. So don't take credit in Alberta for it, Joe.
Yeah.
Come on, Gabe.
I'm not winning
You guys,
anything either,
don't even like Canada and Alberta. You're not part of Canada. It doesn't count.
Settle down, right?
Right under the bus today. We're in Alberta. Can't win.
Yeah. I deem Albertans are not allowed to celebrate other Canadian achievements, Cam. That's the we're letting the hand down.
We do it more than anything.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
amazing.
Vancouver's
All
not
right,
that
so
much better.
all kidding aside, no, Vancouver's different, very different, but Vancouver doesn't want to separate from Canada. Alberta does. That's the difference. If we're being real here, we're going to call it out for why I brought it up. But all kidding aside, all kidding aside, the Calgary Stampeders lost their first game of the year on Saturday. People warned me. I got a lot of messages on Saturday morning about the weather in Calgary. And I was in the studio, and I was like, yeah, how bad could it be? It's the middle of the summer. It's summertime. How bad could it be? And I was like, yeah, it's raining in Calgary. It'll stop. It didn't stop. And it was bad, Joe. I don't know what the hell happened. There was wind like crazy. It seriously looked like a MAC football game in November. I was like, yeah, you know what? This actually is pretty bad. The weather was terrible for the game. Somehow it still nearly got there on the teaser, but there were so many turnovers and it just sort of fell apart. But a bad weather game there. The Stampeders now, Joe, have a bye week. But guys, we got point spreads for week 4 now already. Hard to believe it's week 4. Wow. The Edmonton Elks are 9.5-point road underdogs in Winnipeg on Thursday night. The total is 50.5. Friday night football, the Montreal Alouettes are laying 2.5 only on the road against Hamilton. 50.5 again. BC on the road on Saturday night, plus 5.5 against the Rough Riders. Total 51.5. And the Toronto Argonauts, plus 2.5 in Ottawa. Over under 52.5. What do you think about the CFL, Joe?
Oh, it's going to be a great week. And yeah, that rain, Gabe, was absolutely insane. Almost up to my knee in some areas that I was driving past, it was flooding. So it was crazy here. The Edmonton Elks actually really impressed me versus Montreal in week 3 this weekend. And I do think they can keep it tighter with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I'll grab them plus the points. I think 9.5 is just way too many. I really think Saskatchewan's a team to watch out of the West this year. I'm loving what we're seeing out of them. BC, though, that's going to be a hard one with BC. I'm not sure if Nathan Rourke will be back for them here. If he is, I think I'm just going to look at the over between the BC Lions and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And then the Red Blacks finally getting a win. I don't think they get another one here at home. I think the Toronto Argos answer back, and I got to roll with Montreal on the road as well, laying the points versus the Hamilton Ticats. I think that's going to be a higher scoring game for Montreal. Hamilton, I think, will be shut down by the defense here of Montreal because this defense is playing incredible this season.
I don't understand a point spread here, Cam, at 2.5 with the Alouettes. But I don't know if the odds makers think, that Davis Alexander is going to be out, which, number one, I'll tell you guys, I don't think he will be. The Alouettes said after that they just took him out for precautionary measures, that there wasn't anything serious. And even if he didn't play, McLeod Bethel Thompson is a more than capable core. The Alouettes are so good. It doesn't really, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but they would still win anyways. I'm surprised by this point spread, guys. That one sort of sticks out to me. The Alouettes murder everybody. And, like you said, Joe, props to the Elks. They didn't quit. They were getting lit up. They nearly backdoored it. You know what I mean? They came back. They ended up losing by 10 when it was all said and done. But we'll give them credit, like you said. And one thing with Edmonton, it's a bold pick, Joe. But I you know what? I kind of like where you're going with it. Edmonton, Winnipeg coming off a big win against, we got a goal. Son of a, this is falling apart late. We got a goal here. Palmeiras just scored in the 79th minute, so we got a 2-1 game going into the 80th minute. But Edmonton, Joe, are better on the road than they are at home. That is one thing that is true. That the Elks, they play better on the road for whatever reason.
Yeah, and then you look at Winnipeg. So they were in BC. They got the win. They come home, take on Edmonton. Then they're back out on the road versus Calgary on Thursday. So they're preparing for a short week. Take on Calgary, who we know Vernon Adams Jr. is now the quarterback. So I think they'll look over the Elks. And I'm liking Trey Ford out there.
Joe Madden. Good stuff, Joe. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
There's Joe Madden with us. Good stuff with Joe. We got a 2-1 game now in the 80th minute. Cairo still leads FC Porto. They're in like the 76th minute right now, a 4-3 game. So there's been a ton of goals there in that contest. And this last 10 minutes should be pretty wild as Palmeiras have cut the lead to 1.
Here we go at Oakmont. Let's start with the course. What do we know about this course? How long is the rough, and does course history come into effect for you this week?
The U.S. Open has always been billed as the most difficult test of golf there is on the planet. And I tell you what, it's often labeled as the most difficult golf course in the world is Oakmont.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
We don't want you playing here. Can you move positions? Do something else. He starts the season like 0 for 150, it felt like, and finally finds himself in a groove at the plate, hitting 272. 15 home runs on the season? Now he's shipped to San Francisco.
What is management going to do? Nobody who's paying you $313.5 million is going to hear anything from you. They'll figure out a way to get rid of you, and that's exactly what they did.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Every 5 days, it's really exciting when Skeens pitches, and it's terrible watching him pitch because every time he pitches, they don't score.
Having him hit the lineup probably would actually help when he pitches. There's no way to do it because you can't, but yeah, it's beyond frustrating. And the numbers will tell you, the books have adjusted.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Dialing it back to his old days with St. Louis and Arizona. Buy or sell, Goldie will finish top 7 in fantasy first baseman.
No, I'm going to say no. I think he'll fall off. Older player here, he'll be top 10, but not top 7 here. Top 10, I would say, yeah, I'd buy it. Top 7, I'm going to say no here. I think he'll put up decent numbers here. Not as good as he was. I don't think he's going to bat 340, 350 all year long.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. 2-1, 7 minutes left in the game before extra time. Inter Miami hanging on to the lead right now. FC Porto still trailing 4-3 right now. A very disappointing effort in this tournament from FC Porto. But Inter Miami, and the crowd's going crazy. The Palmeiras fans are rocking, even though they're losing 2-1 right now. So we'll keep our eye on the end of this. The baseball game. The Red Sox have just scored, so we get to 9. Right now. 5-4 for the Angels. We're only in the top of the 4th inning right now. They got a runner on third base, and there's 2 out. In-game total sits at 14.5, and things just got worse for San Diego. They were down 2-0, and now they're down 4-1, Cam. 4-1 for the Nationals in the bottom of the fourth inning. Nationals now minus 550, San Diego plus 375. Here's Miami nearly scoring, but they don't. So there's only 2 baseball games left, although you do have some Mexican League baseball going on right now. But let's talk about the Travelers. As last week we talked about Keegan Bradley, and Keegan Bradley had won the Travelers before. He's from Vermont. He plays well in the Northeast. He caught my eye. It was the one player. I was like, you know what, Keegan Bradley. Cam had him at the top of his 6-pack. Stewart had him as well. Carver had him. I think Brady had a piece of him. It seemed like everybody got a piece of Keegan Bradley this week. And great performance by Keegan Bradley, Cam, but it seems like the tournament, it was almost more of that Tommy Fleetwood lost than Bradley won, right? Like Bradley was the benefactor of Tommy Fleetwood's another meltdown on the PGA Tour for Tommy Fleetwood.
Very true, Gabe. But I'll tell you one thing, though. Keegan Bradley on 18's thinking, okay, I'm down 1 to this guy. And he hit a shot, Gabe, inside 5 feet. Like he nutted his chip and he went up to his caddy and he's like, it's on. And then Tommy Fleetwood, on the other hand, hits a fairway. And then he goes up to his caddy and they're having a problem between wedge and 9. Fleetwood's initial reaction was 9, thinking, I got a little adrenaline. It's 18. I'm going for my first win on the tour. Him and his caddy, he under clubs, hits it off the front of the green, rolls off. He's got a chip on, like brutal. And then all of a sudden, he misses the par putt. Keegan Bradley's inside and he hits the putt to win, not even to go to a playoff. And Russell Henley was right there too, and he chipped in from 60 feet in the rough. Like it was a crazy ending in this tournament. And Keegan Bradley said this, Gabe, and I'll never forget it. And he said it again. He goes, "This is my 5th major. I do it for the people of New York State, New England, everything we talked about." He goes, "When I come to this tournament in Cromwell, Connecticut, I'm playing for my buddies at St. John's, for all the people of the Northeast, for New England." And that's like, he got fired up big time. And now the other storyline with this, Gabe, is Keegan Bradley is playing his way. He is the Ryder Cup captain. He goes, I will only play if I earn the top 10 on points. Right now, he's there. So Keegan Bradley is earning himself to be the captain and player for the Team USA heading into this thing due to great performances. And as for Tommy Fleetwood, another close but no close, Gabe, the most top 10 finishes without a win. And I'll tell you something, it's getting into his head now, and I don't know how he's going to recover from this one. Very, very tough.
It really is amazing, isn't it, how time and time again, and in these international events, Cam, he plays awesome, right?
Great point.
That's the thing, and he just can't close these out. But in the international events, he plays well, and Palmeiras have tied the game in the 87th minute.
Wow.
So we got a 2-2 draw. That's what I played. I played the draw, but it was only plus 170. That's the odds makers were kind of expecting it, but I had an in-game under 3.5. This is like all kind of a disaster, but it is what it is. It's 2-2 right now. I'll take the draw win if I can get it. Who knows, though? This is a wild ending. Palmeiras are really coming on at the end. So we got a 2-2 game in the 87th minute. Palmeiras players are really jacked up. The stadium's going crazy right now. And as far as Porto is concerned, they're still losing 4-3 with 6 minutes remaining in that
What's going to happen to
match.
Porto, Gabe? They're not going to be waiting for these guys at the airport. They're going to go back to Porto, and fans might rock these guys.
They're going to be going back home. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's like, you're an embarrassment to Portuguese soccer, Porto. Like, their fans are going to be pissed. Like, they embarrass themselves.
But it's off.
In Miami.
Yeah, and Benfica hasn't looked good in this tournament either. I know they scored a bunch. They won 5-0 or whatever. They're 6-0. They scored a bunch of late goals, but it hasn't been a good look for the Portuguese teams in this Club World Cup. But it's off season at least, so they don't really have to go home. Like Eustachio, who's on FC Porto, who's on Team Canada as well. He's going to be joining Team Canada like after this and joining the Gold Cup. That is, if Canada doesn't screw it up tomorrow night like they did on Saturday night. So the NBA Finals are done, and you got the NBA draft in a couple of days, guys. So we got to get into this. We haven't done a lot of handicapping as far as the NBA draft is concerned. It's a little anticlimactic. I mean, let's be real. We all know that Cooper Flagg is going to be the top pick of the draft. So that's just unbettable. The thing is, Harper out of Rutgers is locked in pretty much as well to be the second pick. So if you're thinking outside the box, you can, there's something to do there, but he probably will be. He's going to be the second pick overall. There's no secret the Spurs are taking him. So the third pick, Edgecombe, minus 300. So, all right, you can sort of think outside the box, I guess, if you want, starting with that pick, Cam, with, who's going to be the third overall pick. And I think you can make an argument that I don't think Trey Johnson, the kid from Texas, who I actually like, I remember I talked about him a lot in the tournament. He's just you could just sort of tell. He's like an NBA type kid. And Ace Bailey, though, I guess it's because he hasn't been meeting teams and he's kind of been aloof with teams and stuff. But plus 440, I don't think it's crazy. But basically, guys, from a betting perspective, like the fourth pick, Kneppel, the kid from Duke, and then is plus 115. Bailey's plus 340. Edgecombe's plus 340. So it sort of starts at the fourth pick where it becomes sort of a pick 'em and they don't know. The first three picks, the odds makers are kind of locked in there. The Raptors are drafting 9th. And I'm seeing right now, so FanDuel's got the Maluwak kid from Duke, plus 195. I see him. I saw him earlier today at Bet365 at like plus 250. But for those of you, that's my pick. Looking at the draft, I think they're going to take the kid from Duke, the Toronto Raptors.
3 players
and
from Duke will go in the top 10 then, for fun. Because Kneppel will go like 4 or 5, right?
They were a deep-ass team, even though they didn't win the title.
Here we go at Oakmont. Let's start with the course. What do we know about this course? How long is the rough, and does course history come into effect for you this week?
The U.S. Open has always been billed as the most difficult test of golf there is on the planet. And I tell you what, it's often labeled as the most difficult golf course in the world is Oakmont.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
We don't want you playing here. Can you move positions? Do something else. He starts the season like 0 for 150, it felt like, and finally finds himself in a groove at the plate, hitting 272. 15 home runs on the season? Now he's shipped to San Francisco.
What is management going to do? Nobody who's paying you $313.5 million is going to hear anything from you. They'll figure out a way to get rid of you, and that's exactly what they did.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Every 5 days, it's really exciting when Skeens pitches, and it's terrible watching him pitch because every time he pitches, they don't score.
Having him hit the lineup probably would actually help when he pitches. There's no way to do it because you can't, but yeah, it's beyond frustrating. And the numbers will tell you, the books have adjusted.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Dialing it back to his old days with St. Louis and Arizona. Buy or sell, Goldie will finish top 7 in fantasy first baseman.
No, I'm going to say no. I think he'll fall off. Older player here, he'll be top 10, but not top 7 here. Top 10, I would say I'd buy it. Top 7, I'm going to say no here. I think he'll put up decent numbers here. Not as good as he was. I don't think he's going to bat 340, 350 all year long.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, things are getting crazy here in these soccer games right now. FC Porto have tied the game now. So they were down 1-0, they tied it 1-1. They were down 2-1, they made it 2-2. They were down 3-2, they made it 3-3. They were down 4-3, they made it 4-4. Can they backdoor this and score the last goal in the final moments? We're in the 89th minute right now. We'll let you know how many minutes they're going to add on here momentarily. We've got our eye on the Inter Miami Palmeiras ending right now. So they just added 6 minutes in New Jersey. So FC Porto have 6 minutes to bang out a goal here to get the win. Yet this is the draw. This is the result that Inter Miami and Palmeiras were playing for. Here's Palmeiras, though, on a breakaway. Oh, no. Oh, big save Miami, but the rebound is dangerous. Oh, big save Miami part 2. Man, the Miami goalie's good. Like, Miami make a lot of mistakes at the back end. And is the game over? Wow, the referee wasn't playing around with extra time in this one.
He's got somewhere to be. These guys.
No,
are
he
too
basically said it 90 minutes. Hey, he's like, yeah, the game. He blew it.
It's over. No injury time?
He's like,
Okay.
it's over. Yeah, no, like,
whatever.
Yeah, but coincidentally, they're both happy with a 2-2 draw.
Yes.
So he's like, all right, everyone's
Interesting.
good. Hey, you guys got what you wanted. It's over.
We love you, ref.
If I guarantee you guys, if both these teams weren't happy with the draw, they'd be mad right now. Like, if one of these teams needed a win, it'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? There's no extra time. But they just pulled the plug on it, 90 minutes. They did this in another game in this tournament, but it was a rout, Cam.
Yeah.
It was it was a rout. It was one of the games the ref was like, yeah, we're done. Like, at 90 minutes. He just called it. But that's that. They both draw. They're both going to advance. So FC Porto doesn't really matter for them, but they're still going to try to score the final minute. We'll see if they're able to. Here we're in the 92nd minute there. So yeah, as far as the NBA draft's concerned, this is where there's an instance, guys. When you come to drafts, different sports books are going to have different prices, right? When it comes to like point spreads and stuff, most of them are going to be pretty much the same. You might get a half point here different or something like that, but they're going to be the same. But when you come to the draft props, there really are different markets for this. And case in point, we often give credit, Cam, to FanDuel Ontario for their hockey odds. And they have a lot of soft numbers. They have good props up and stuff. But on this one here, they clearly feel what I think. And like I said, if you look at the Toronto Raptors, guys, and the Raptors have a ton of young talent, yet it's kind of getting to the point where, okay, when are you guys going to actually win with all this young talent that you have? Like, Scotty Barnes isn't a rookie anymore. RJ Barrett's been in the league. Like, it's time for the Raptors to actually win again and at least be, like a playoff contender again. And they want to be. And the roster is pretty good right now. The problem with the Raptors roster is they have a lot of players that get hurt all the time. But it's one of those, if they stay healthy, they could be a pretty good basketball team. And the Raptors have been known over the years in the past to draft projects, right? To be like, yeah, you know what? This guy from Germany or this guy from France or this guy from whatever, or from Nigeria, whatever, yeah, he's 6'11", he's very raw, but we think he can be really good in a couple of years. They're not going that route anymore. And they were actually pretty open about it if you sort of like look under the hood about the Raptors and their preparation for the draft. And in fact, they openly said that they're looking for players that have been in big games. They're looking for players that can play right away, that they're done with they kind of said they're done with the projects, that they want somebody who can step in, and basketball IQ is the number one thing. And Malawak, the kid from the kid from Duke, checks all those boxes. He's played in big games. He has a good basketball IQ. He's good defensively. The Raptors were talking about they're very open. They said it doesn't do us any good to draft a player that's only good on offense because he won't play on our team because we emphasize defense first. So they said point blank, we got to get someone that can play defense. Malawak can play defense. Malawak's played for Duke. Malawak is from Nigeria as well. Masai Ujiri's from, it's just he checks all the boxes for what the Raptors like, the type of player. He's ready to go. And like I was saying, this is the instance. So FanDuel, plus 190 for Malawak from Duke to be the 9th pick in the draft. And Bet365 has it at plus 250 right now.
Wow.
Well, look, I want to see a third book and a fourth book, and, so we'll see. But those two books, that's a big difference, 60-cent difference, plus 190 or plus 250. So tells me that FanDuel actually thinks, you know what, this Malawak kid really could go 9th overall. So let's shave the number down a little bit here. So that's my prediction. Malawak from Duke, 9th overall.
Here we go at Oakmont. Let's start with the course. What do we know about this course how long is the rough, and does course history come into effect for you this week?
The U.S. Open has always been billed as the most difficult test of golf there is on the planet. And I tell you what, it's often labeled as the most difficult golf course in the world is Oakmont.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
We don't want you playing here. Can you move positions? Do something else. He starts the season like 0 for 150, it felt like, and finally finds himself in a groove at the plate, hitting 272. 15 home runs on the season? Now he's shipped to San Francisco.
What is management going to do? Nobody who's paying you $313.5 million is going to hear anything from you. They'll figure out a way to get rid of you, and that's exactly what they did.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Every 5 days, it's really exciting when Skeens pitches. And it's terrible watching him pitch because every time he pitches, they don't score.
Having him hit the lineup probably would actually help when he pitches. There's no way to do it because you can't. But, yeah, it's beyond frustrating. And the numbers will tell you, the books have adjusted.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Dialing it back to his old days with St. Louis and Arizona. Buy or sell, Goldie will finish top 7 in fantasy first baseman.
No, I'm going to say no. I think he'll fall off. Older player here, he'll be top 10, but not top 7 here. Top 10, I would say I'd buy it. Top 7, I'm going to say no here. I think he'll put up decent numbers here. Not as good as he was. I don't think he's going to bat 340, 350 all year long.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pits, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. I want to check a couple other books, actually, and just see what they have up for Malawalk to be the 9th pick of the draft, because we see a plus 250, and we see a plus 190. Plus 190 at FanDuel, plus 250, plus 250 at Bet365. I'm looking right now at a sports book called Bet99. And they got plus 220. So it's right in the middle. So plus 250 seems to be not a bad number here. And let's check out to see what BetMGM has on this, actually. Could check out a few others.
I think 250 is going to be the best price. 190, 220, 250. That's good. That's a very good price.
And I doubt it'll be up there once they realize that all the other books have such a different number. Right, unless they're trying to bait people in on this, but normally they'll want to adjust on this. I'm looking right now at BetMGM. All right, they're really not making this easy though. I put basketball and WNBA popped up. All right, here we go. Speaking of which, too, the Score Bet app, the Score Sportsbook. Their social media account says, well, that's it. There's no more basketball until next October. Like, they got lit up. It's like you guys are a sports book. Like, you got WNBA basketball. You got, like, CBL. Another thing, too, is, like, the Score app is based out of Toronto. You got the freaking Canadian Basketball League. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, there's no more basketball. Like, people are like, what kind of, like, sports book tweets out there's no sport, like, when there is? Like,
probably not a good idea to say that. Say we still have sport.
Okay, I'm like, no, like, if I'm John Levy, I'm going to tell the kid that runs it, I'm going to say, listen, hey, there's a lot of Euro basketball to bet on, and WNBA basketball. You've got, like, the TBT tournament's coming up on. You just be like, there's a lot of basketball to bet on. What are you talking about? There's no NBA basketball. Yeah, there's NBA draft. It's another thing, too. I would have said, yeah, bet on the NBA draft this week, guys. Yes. But, all right, they dropped the ball on that one. I don't want to call anyone out if you're tuning into the show, but you screwed up on that one.
You screwed up. You're so right, though. Like, even as, like, a business, you don't say we don't have it. You just advertise. Yeah,
you're a sports book. You're supposed to say there's a lot of things to bet on. Like,
say, hey, the NBA might be over, but we got a smorgasbord, a buffet of stuff. Like, that's the thing. You never say we don't have it.
Yeah, they're like, see you in October. It's like, all right, I guess I'll turn the app off. You know what I mean?
See ya. Right. Bye.
We'll be back. All right, so BetMGM has plus 210.
Told you, I'm locking in
All right,
250 now.
I'm
Not gonna
done.
get a
I'm
better
done
number.
looking, guys. I've looked at 4 books for you. So there
Yeah.
it is. I'm done searching.
Enough.
So
Yep.
plus 250 is a good number.
Yes.
I don't think he could go before. Like I said, he's a very good player. Like I said, the Raptors, I don't think they're into projects right now at this juncture of where they're at. So the other one could be maybe Derek Queen from Maryland, but I think Queen's a good scorer, but I think he's a defensive liability as well. And he doesn't really fit with the Raptors. The Raptors already have a bunch of him, right? Like, and the Raptors have been guilty of that. Same thing. There's talk about Danny Wolf out of Michigan for the Raptors. Wolf is a good shooter. He's a very good offensive player, but he's not very good defensively, right? Like we saw that with the Michigan Wolverines. All right, we got George Kurtz in the house with us. George does not have any NBA draft props for us. Any late night baseball, George? 6-1 right now, Washington. They're drilling San Diego. San Diego's too busy crying about the Dodgers all the time. They should worry about the Nationals. 6-1 Nats right now. And we've got to push at minimum with the total here, guys. George, the total was 9 in the Red Sox and the Angels game. They exploded early. It's slowed down, though. They're only at 9 right now, still in the top of the 5th inning.
Yeah, I guess I'm glad I didn't make San Diego the parlay bar part of my night, by the way. So, but I am on the run line there, so not happy about that. Right now, Cora's going bananas in the Boston Angels game, and I don't know why. Because there was a runner on second, nobody out, ground ball to a shortstop. The runner on second for some reason runs to third base. He's out after a run down. Then they get a double play on the guy who hit the ground ball, and he looked like he was trying to argue a point of something, a rule point, and then he's thrown out of the game here. Neither player was safe, by the way. They're both easily out, so he's not arguing that. I don't know what he's arguing about here. I'm trying to figure it out here. Is he saying? I mean, nobody got in the runner's way, so he's not saying somebody there's interference here. I have no idea what he's arguing about here. I'm very curious to find out what Cora is flipping out about here.
You got to turn the closed captioning on.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when we're doing these games live. It's frustrating sometimes. I know we don't know what the refs and what they're doing or why they're challenging this or that or whatnot. Yeah. See, George, tuned into the show. Great ideas, huh? Closed captioning.
I got to get my closed captioning on. Never even dawned on me. The thing is, I don't know how to throw it on. All right,
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Isn't there a button that says CC on the remote?
Find it on the control, and then it's one of those deals where I've gotten it on and I can't get it off, and I'm like, son of a bitch, I want to get this thing off, and I'm like, it's annoying me. Like, I'm trying to get it off after. But I don't know. Like these controls are so hard now. Like everything's got to be hard in life. Like I said, I got 2 of them now for a TV. It's like, I got to do this one, and then I got to do this for that, and this app, and that is like, it's annoying, right? And the batteries are dead. I didn't know the other day with my batteries, I didn't know which one it was. I couldn't tell. So I had to go through both of them and like, all right, I think this one still works. I think this might be the one. 5-4 right now for the Angels. So we got to push it at minimum here. Yeah, Walker Buehler, guys, his ERA is like over 9 on the road. He's been good at home in Fenway for them, but he's been lit up on the road, so we're not surprised. But in-game total sits at 13.5 right now.
Yeah, it's really slowed down. But I was saying this too. Like Boston put up 3, and then you're thinking, wow, the Angels haven't even hit yet. We're in the first inning. They're offering like a plus 3.5, and that's the whole thing. You get a nice number with the Angels, and then they put up a 5 spot in the first inning. So we talk about it, Gabe. That's the best time to bet these games. You you hope the team at the top, they get some runs, you get a good number, and you got 9 innings of baseball left for the home team and the Angels. So that's the way to play it. Hopefully we get some more runs. I need one more. Screw the push, Gabe. We need a win. We need another run, and hopefully the Angels get it.
Oh, there should be another run across home plate at some point. I don't know if it'll get to 13.5. Maybe it'll slow down. That's something that we've got to think about. George, New York Yankees, Cincinnati Reds. I know you're watching the game. The Yankees struggle with runners in scoring position once again.
I mean, 0 for 11. This has been going on for quite a while now. It's not so much the 0 for 11, it's that they don't get productive outs. They don't move runners over from second to third. Twice tonight they had a runner on third, less than 2 outs. They don't get the runner in. They strike out here. It's just frustrating over and over again. And I bet against the Yankees tonight. The Yankees was actually good for me betting-wise. I also had an Aaron Judge home run. I figured he'd hit when he gets a softer throwing left-hander in a small park there. But the Yankees as a team are just extremely frustrating. This is why they're not going anywhere. There's no great team in the American League. But if you can't play baseball, which the Yankees cannot play right now, you're not going to win when it comes playoff time here. Your pitching's good. It's not that good to overcome what the Yankees do. Aaron Judge hit a home run in the first inning. Third batter of the game. They didn't score again against Cincinnati's pitching in Cincinnati. That's just mind-boggling to me.
Although, at this point, I'll have to disagree. And at what point you said to the American, and we've talked about it, the American League, the National League is stronger, and no one's going to dispute that. But without being stated, at what point do we say, the Detroit Tigers are a great team? I mean, great's a strong word. Well, you know what? They're the best team.
They're the best team in the American League.
Okay, but put it this way. They're the best team in baseball right now. They have the best record in baseball. Does it mean they're the best team in baseball? Well, the division that they play in, okay, but they have the best record in baseball, and we'll hit this and more on the other side. They're also the most profitable team in baseball this year. Plus $877 for $100 bettors.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I'm Gabriel Morency, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. George Kurtz from the Grid and Cam Stewart from the Grid in the house with me right now. Just talking about the FIFA World Cup, Club World Cup is on DAZN. and it is free. You gotta download their app, and but it is free. And at first, it's a little bit daunting for older people. They're like, "What the hell is this?" It's like the Dr. Pepper commercial, the Fansville, which most of their spots are pretty good, but there was a good one when they sit down on the couch and the game is on some app and the app just spinning. And the guy goes, "God, I miss when games were on cable."
I love that guy.
It's like the app's just spinning. Like the girl's freaking out. We're gonna miss kickoff. We're gonna miss kickoff. He's like, "God, I miss cable," and it's just spinning. Like it's the world that we're living in right now. But I saw something the other day. Now, people, it depends on where you are actually. Like, so it's kind of crazy. If you're in the United States, you have to pay more for the NFL than anyone else. And I saw something, George, this year, that if you want to watch every NFL football game this year, it'll cost you $1,600.
Because you got to pay monthly for Amazon Prime, so whatever that costs a month, plus what?
They're on everything
Peacock
now.
Every game, YouTube.
Yeah, they're NBC Sports online, YouTube TV, Netflix, Amazon Prime.
What's the Friday game on?
Apple. Apple's in on it. They're like everyone has games now. They all have games. It's $1,600, guys. If you signed up for every service, you said I don't want to miss a single NFL game. If you signed up for every company and app and like pay this and that, it would cost $1,600. It's a lot of money actually, just to watch on TV. And we talk about the days and age of what tickets cost, but imagine that, Kim, $1,600.
I canceled Netflix after the Paul fight. I'm like, I didn't get my money's worth. Now I got to sign up again? That sucks.
What are you signing up for Jake Paul fights for?
I don't know, because I bet on it. Remember that night? I was like, I'll pay $7 or $8 or whatever. Remember, you had to pay for it.
Netflix
so
is good. Netflix is pretty good.
I actually am going to bite the bullet. Like, there's other ones I got to deal with, but yeah, time to sign back up.
Weren't there a lot of complaints about that fight, about Netflix that wasn't working great?
Yeah. The first time ever they had a problem when they did live sports. Mm-hmm. They had way more viewers and whatever, but they figured it out. But the thing is, Kim, I wouldn't say I wouldn't recommend. The Red Sox just hit a home run. 5-5.
Get her over.
The over's good. Wrong team.
I'm on the Angels
over
too,
9.
so that's not great.
A soft Trevor Story is 11th of the year. A soft landing here with the over, guys? A total of 9 cashes. Early runs, it slowed down a little bit. We're in the 6 now, but it still ends up getting there. I'll take it after getting kicked in the head with a soccer ball tonight. So 5-5 in-game total still 13.5 right now. But like people in Canada, it doesn't cost them anything. Like TSN shows all the games. Mm-hmm. So, Jordan, that's one thing. Like, you get pretty much not every game for free, but pretty much. Like, basically, if you get like the CTV regional channels, which, I'm pretty much everybody can get, and they're not expensive. Like, you know what I mean? Like CTV Vancouver is going to show the Seahawks. CTV Toronto is going to show the Bills. CTV Winnipeg is showing the Vikings. Right? Like, so you can really get every game for very minimal amount of money, actually. The U.S. market gets squeezed, very similar to the UFC. People don't realize this. The only people that pay for pay-per-views for the UFC are Canada and the U.S. Everyone else is just on, like, ESPN, or whatever channel, like ESPN Europe or whatever, Sky TV, you know what I mean? Like,
or whatever,
they don't pay for it. They don't pay for it, right? Like, they charge us for the pay-per-views, but they don't do Europe. They don't have pay-per-views in Europe. Like they don't do the model like that. I'm not saying boxing's never done it, but it's not like a TV model for them. All right. So as far as baseball, George says the Tigers are not a great team. They have a great record. We'll tell you that. You can't dispute that, Kurtz.
No, they're the best team in the American League, but I don't know if I'm going to put them up there with the Dodgers, Phillies. I think they're right there with the. I guess I'll go out a little out of order here. Mets, Braves, whatever you think of them, Cubs, the other teams in the National League West, other than the Dodgers. I think they're right in that mix. So they're a top 5 team, right in there. But they're
the third choice now. They're the third choice now to win the World Series. Dodgers
I
are
expect them to make
favorites.
a major addition by the deadline here. I think they're going for it. And they have money. Remember, they wanted Bregman, and they couldn't quite get him. They have the money to spend here. I think they're going to make a major addition here, whether it's to the pitching staff or if they want another bat, or maybe both. It wouldn't shock me if it's both here to really put themselves way above everybody else in the American League.
Dodgers plus 230, Yankees 6-1, Tigers 8-1, Mets 9-1, Phillies 10-1. I think that's a good number on the Phillies, guys.
Agreed.
I think they're a very dangerous team. They're going to be in the mix. And listen, I think the Dodgers and the Phillies are on. I don't want to discount the Mets, but the Cubs are 14-1. There's some good baseball teams. There's some good teams. And George, right now, and we're going to have a good series this week, actually. We got good teams going head-to-head playing against each other. But don't look now, but the Houston Astros are 14-6 in their last 20 games right now. Starting to come together for them, Kurtz. They got a plus 32 run differential in the month of June, 14-6. Are you taking the Astros serious right now? It'd be I think it'd be naive of us not to be honest.
I mean, they know how to win. I may hate the Astros for obvious reasons here, but this is an organization that knows how to win. And they're doing this without Jordan Alvarez, who's been out the entire 14-6, right? Theoretically, they should get better once he returns here. Hunter Brown's turned out into an ace. Valdez has also really turned back the clock a little bit. He's an ace again here. I might worry about their depth pitching here, as far as Arrighetti's still hurt here. When you throw in Gordon, Walter, and Gusto out there. But I don't know how it's going to play in a playoff series, but they're playing very good baseball right now, yeah.
Phillies have won 8 of 9. Astros 14-6 in the last 20. Astros versus Phillies this week. Big-time series. On the other side, we'll take a look at the Milwaukee Brewers, another team that the Brewers are doing Brewer things again right now. Like they're playing themselves back into this thing.
Here we go at Oakmont. Let's start with the course. What do we know about this course? How long is the rough, and does course history come into effect for you this week?
The U.S. Open has always been billed as the most difficult test of golf there is on the planet. And I tell you what, it's often labeled as the most difficult golf course in the world is Oakmont.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
We don't want you playing here. Can you move positions? Do something else. He starts the season like 0 for 150, it felt like, and finally finds himself in a groove at the plate, hitting 272. 15 home runs on the season? Now he's shipped to San Francisco.
What is management going to do? Nobody who's paying you $313.5 million is going to hear anything from you. They'll figure out a way to get rid of you, and that's exactly what they did.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Every 5 days, it's really exciting when Skeens pitches, and it's terrible watching him pitch because every time he pitches, they don't score.
Having him hit the lineup probably would actually help when he pitches. There's no way to do it because you can't, but yeah, it's beyond frustrating. And the numbers will tell you, the books have adjusted.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Dialing it back to his old days with St. Louis and Arizona. Buy or sell, Goldie will finish top 7 in fantasy first baseman.
No, I'm going to say no. I think he'll fall off. Older player here, he'll be top 10, but not top 7 here. Top 10, I would say, yeah, I buy it. Top 7, I'm going to say no here. I think he'll put up decent numbers here. Not as good as he was. I don't think he's going to bat 340, 350 all year long.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. It doesn't feel like hockey season. And once again, if you're just joining us, the Abbotsford Canucks won the Calder Cup tonight. First time the Canuck organization has ever won a championship. They get it done against, at least the Panthers don't get both of them.
Yeah.
It was the Panthers farm team, the Charlotte Checkers.
Checkers? Yes.
Yeah, the Bojangles Center.
won,
That's their
Bo.
arena camp. The
I
Bojangles.
love Bojangles. Oh, great. I'm telling you, I
It's the
love
name
that
of the
place.
arena.
Yeah, the Bojangles. That's the best. Great biscuits.
I don't even know. I live near there. I don't even know what the Abbotsford Arena is called. I'm sure it's something like very plain, the Abbotsford Civic Center or something like that.
Exactly.
Or Rogers. Can't to be Rogers.
Yeah,
Rogers.
good point. Yeah,
Rogers Arena or something like that. But George, the free agent feeding frenzy is going to begin. It's the thing with the NHL. It's not much of an off season. The NHL really is. I mean, they play until mid-June. You got the draft coming up, and the next thing you know, like the rookie camps are in freaking August. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, late July, August, thing just keeps rolling. And of course, you got the free agents. So, and July 1st, they all kind of sign right away, right? And it's not the deepest class. So now the trades, like the GMs are working the phones. What did you think of Trevor Zegras for Ryan Poling today, the Ducks and the Flyers?
The first thing I saw was that Zegras was traded. I'm like, oh, I know the Islanders were interested at one time. Maybe. And then I was a little disappointed. I went to Philadelphia. I think two things here. Like the move of Philadelphia. I think they got him light, right? They sort of bought low there. Good winger who has had success in the past. Hey, let's see what he can do with the young team. Change the scenery, all of that here. And for Anaheim, not that they needed to, but they cleared some cap space. I think, and I know that, what's his name? The GM there. I know he wants to make the playoffs next year. Desperately wants to make the playoffs. I think they were going to go after big game hunting. I think that's what they're getting rid of. They're clearing the decks here, clearing some salary here. I think they're going after Mitch Marner. I think they're going to have big time with Mitch Marner. Whether or not he wants to play there, I do not know. But I think they want Mitch Marner.
That's a good point, George. They already had a report, Gabe, when they were talking about it. It was Anaheim. They say Carolina's in the mix for Marner. And as you said, Vegas.
Carolina
wanted.
Yeah, but the thing is, he traded down getting traded by the Leafs at the time, which could have been a bigger move, George. Like, don't forget, he doesn't look like the bad guy leaving the Leafs now. And that's the thing. Carolina guys tried to trade for Mitch Marner. They like him. They want him. They tried to trade for him. That's the thing, man. Marner is going to, like you said, the Ducks, Utah, the LA Kings, the Vegas Golden Knights. I've heard Tampa. There's a report today the Columbus Blue Jackets are putting a deal together for Mitch Marner.
So basically half the NHL wants Marner.
Yes.
Blue Jackets
except your Leafs for whatever reason.
Yeah, this is going to be a train wreck. Apparently, they're talking like Tavares might go too. Somebody's going to offer him more money.
Exactly.
He might not take the hometown
Tavares hometown discount.
He's like,
happening?
What did I say? I was going to give you a hometown discount. Tavares might.
Yeah, everybody assumed that. Oh, he'll take a hometown discount. It's like, well, maybe he won't. Like,
yeah, it's insulting.
I think the Leafs thought, he'll take $5-6 million. He's making 10 now.
Exactly.
And I think he's thinking, no, I'm hometown discount means $8 million a year, guys, not $5 million.
This could go very badly for the Leafs.
Discount,
they're going to lose a lot of
Cam,
guys.
If they lose Marner and Tavares, there's no one to sign after. Like, they'll have all this money and nowhere to spend it. Like, that's going to be their problem.
Matthew Nyes is their first priority. We all know that. But the thing is, there's so many holes with this team. They still have aging defensemen. They need a tough guy. Like, it's crazy. And Tavares is like, I'm on his side for this. There's no assumptions that you played great last year. It's like, oh, I'm just going to get less money, whatever. I'm from the area. No, screw it. I played good. Like, you're going to have to pay me. I'm sorry. That's on the Leafs for assuming that, right, George? Right, Gabe? Like, they can't just say, oh, we're going to give you a deal. Screw that.
When Tavares left the Islanders, he took less money from the Islanders, or San Jose actually over the most money. The Islanders over at second most. He took less money already to sign with Toronto. So he already took a discount. I'm sure he would take a discount again. The thing like Gabe said, okay, I'll take a 10, 20% discount, not 40, 50%. That's not happening.
Exactly.
Other word in the NHL right now is that, Sam Bennett's still, like, hammered right now. He better, I understand the partying and stuff, but it's like, bro, you're a free agent in a couple of days. You got a lot on the line here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you should probably sober up and try to, I don't know, maybe he knows I'm going to stay with the Panthers no matter what, but I was hearing today that, the teams are going to offer a lot of money. Will the Panthers be able to match it? They won't be able to keep him and Marchand, right? Unless Marchand wants to take a discount, which I doubt. So, we'll see how this plays out. We'll be able to hit it again, but it's coming up July 1st. It'll get real. So what's that? That's next Tuesday, right? Canada Day. So yeah, next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, things will get real in the NHL, guys.
Here we go at Oakmont. Let's start with the course. What do we know about this course? How long is the rough, and does course history come into effect for you this week?
The U.S. Open has always been billed as the most difficult test of golf there is on the planet. And I tell you what, it's often labeled as the most difficult golf course in the world is Oakmont.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
We don't want you playing here. Can you move positions? Do something else? He starts the season like 0 for 150, it felt like, and finally finds himself in a groove at the plate, hitting 272. 15 home runs on the season? Now he's shipped to San Francisco.
What is management going to do? Nobody who's paying you $313.5 million is going to hear anything from you. They'll figure out a way to get rid of you, and that's exactly what they did.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Every 5 days, it's really exciting when Skeens pitches, and it's terrible watching him pitch because every time he pitches, they don't score.
Having him hit the lineup probably would actually help when he pitches. There's no way to do it because you can't, but yeah, it's beyond frustrating. And the numbers will tell you, the books have adjusted.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Dialing it back to his old days with St. Louis and Arizona. Buy or sell, Goldie will finish top 7 in fantasy first baseman.
No, I'm going to say no. I think he'll fall off. Older player here, he'll be top 10, but not top 7 here. Top 10, I would say, yeah, I buy it. Top 7, I'm going to say no here. I think he'll put up decent numbers here. Not as good as he was. I don't think he's going to bat 340, 350 all year long.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the Pittsburgh players, the hustlers, the people to bust them, and everybody else in between. The quickest 120 minutes in sports talk and television. Really, this show's flown by tonight, but we still got some time left here. Our boy Mo Khan steps up, and former college football player, play-by-play voice, sideline reporter. He's even done weather reports and meteorology before. Jack of all trades. Mo Khan steps up. And what's going on, Mo? How you doing?
It is very warm and humid and hot and horrible in Montreal. It's like 40 degrees with the humidex right now. So I'm sure Cam's feeling it in Toronto.
We set a record today, Mo. A smooth 43. It's like 100. Yeah, people, like it's a warning out there. Like they're worried for seniors. The Red Cross is going door to door, making sure people are ready. Yeah, I don't understand, Gabe. The hottest day in 20 years, I think they said. It's nuts.
Didn't Gabe mention?
Yeah, it's pretty weak. I saw. Yeah, I saw Toronto City Hall close the pools because it was too hot.
Not enough lifeguards. Good work there, Mayor Chow. You're doing a great job here. No pools on the hottest day. No, people went nuts, and then they
thing is,
they
it's
got
kind of
people out there.
It's kind of part of the job description. Like you're a lifeguard in the summer. Yeah, it gets hot in the summer.
Yes,
maybe a couple of days where it's hot. Like, you know what I mean?
It's like, what are we doing here? You're closing pools on the hottest day.
So like, it's not 72 degrees. It's not perfect. I got to leave.
Exactly.
I can't do this. And it's the world we're in. I saw the pools, but I'm not surprised. The city of Toronto's whacked out. It doesn't matter who the mayor is. There've always been one. It's the city council. They're just a bunch of like nannies. But
nannies.
No, it's true. It's true. Like the typical Toronto City Hall councilor is like a angry 67-year-old woman,
lunchroom supervisor.
That's like just like literally angry at everybody in the world, besides real estate developers that line her pockets, right? Like,
so true.
Like, but everything else is like no. We are F1 in Toronto, no. NFL in Toronto, no. Well, you want to build a casino downtown Toronto? No. They're the city of no. It's like no, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. But like,
Gabe, Toronto tourism. He's right though. It's brutal.
But you like this, Mo?
Yeah.
You like this one. You see, I retweeted the picture of Dortmund. Part of me, like I saw that, I'm like, God, you guys are soft. And I actually bet a future on Dortmund at 25-1 to win this tournament. It's just a little bit of a flyer, but because I thought they could go far. But now when I saw them yesterday, this is unbelievable. It was hot. It was 87 degrees, which is 30, so 87 and 30. It was hot on the pitch, and these turf grasses get hot, but they made the subs, instead of sitting on the bench, sit in the locker room, in the air-conditioned locker room to stay cool during the game. And I'm thinking, wow, this is a modern era. And the thing is, I was like, it's only 87 degrees, guys. And you know what's funny is people were like, it's literally 30 degrees in Germany right now. Like, it's hotter at home than like you are on the road. So it wasn't like, oh, we're not used to this. It's actually the same temperature in Germany, right? Like, so I was thinking, I was like, yeah, that's the thing. They don't play in the summer. And as soft as I thought it was seeing them sit there during the game, they're all sitting in the locker room with their feet up watching on TV in a nice air-conditioned room. And then I was thinking, it's pretty soft. But then I was like, it's actually pretty smart. Like, they'll be more fit when they come into the game, Mo. You know what I mean? It's actually, the German coach, he said after, he goes, I don't want my guys dying in the heat there. He goes, I put them in the room instead. If I call them in the game, they come into the game. It's like players sitting in the bullpen. So as much as I sort of kidded it about being soft, I actually think it was a pretty smart move of the coach.
Well, the thing is, guys, right? We were talking about last week about World Cup sites and dates and where it's going to happen. You're going to see a lot of these national teams probably train in Florida, North Carolina. Jesse Marsh of Canada said they'll probably train in North Carolina during the World Cup. And you probably would look at Louisiana and Mississippi, some warmer states that will be host sites for these teams, because they realize that U.S. summers are unpredictable, right? It can be extremely hot or extremely awful. And with some of these games in South Beach and points in between New York and all that stuff, you want to be able to adapt yourselves to this type of climate. And look, for Dortmund and these teams who are not used to it, we talked about the European clubs in particular, like Chelsea too. They're struggling. They're playing in Philadelphia, where they're going to have a heat warning at 9 p.m. tomorrow night for their game. So really, it's really adapted to what you have. And I think these European clubs are so comfortable playing in weather that ranges from 10 degrees to 20 degrees, maybe 25 max. They're not used to this type of heat that you and all of us endure in North America.
It goes to show what MLS players go through, man, playing in St. Louis in the middle of the summer, and baseball players and stuff, right? Well, it's viciously hot. But, I mean, we've had this. They played in Qatar, right? They did it, an off-season, etc. But, that's why they invented the water breaks. But one thing they brought up, too, and I saw the Bellingham was talking about it, was he's like, God, this turf gets hot in America. You know what I mean? Like they're basically, it's like this fake sort of, NFL grass. They call it real grass, but he's like, it's not real grass. And all the Euro teams are not happy about it. I saw Atletico Madrid. I'm not saying they don't care, because if anyone's watching a tournament, the players are into it. But Atletico Madrid wasn't crying when they were eliminated tonight after the game. Basically, like Bellingham said, he goes, man, he was talking about how he's felt more pain in his knees in a week in America than he did in a year playing in Europe. He's like, these stadiums are killing my knees, which I'm sure, England's like, oh, God, really? Right now? But you said it, Mo. Get used to it, buddy. Right? And you're right. In all these FIFA Club World Cup games, the Euro clubs struggle when they play that early game. Right? They all admit it after. Right, Paris Saint-Germain was like, that was hell on earth playing at the Rose Bowl. They hated it. Madrid said the same thing. They were like, we like Seattle a lot better than L.A. because it wasn't as cold, and they played well there. Right, it changed. So, but this tournament moves on, and it was a wild night tonight, Mo. Inter Miami moves on. They tied Palmeiras, and FC Porto suck and are eliminated. That's the breaking news from FIFA. Tonight.
Palmeiras took it to Miami at times, right? Inter had the early play in the first 20 minutes, and then they got the early goal, and they're up 2-0. But Palmeiras really brought it to them, and they should have won that game at the death, guys, when you think about it, and probably knock out Miami from that tournament. But, our boy Infantino and FIFA are thanking the football gods that Inter's still alive, because it sets up that potential scenario of Messi playing Real Madrid if that's the case to be at some point in the knockout stages. And of course, the money value of $21 million to win or advance to the next stage of this tournament is definitely much more desirable for a team like Palmeiras than, say, Inter Miami, which has oodles of money coming out from everywhere in the walls.
Yeah, but Inter Miami put out a lot of money too. Right, I was reading. I don't think it's fair. Inter Miami spent a hell of a lot more than anyone else in MLS. But I was reading how the Miami actually wanted the money. Like they're down with it, right? They're an MLS team, so there's only so much revenue stream coming into them, and they're up to $7 million now. Like I said, I was reading a Miami newspaper today, and they were talking. The team was talking about like the $7.5 million, and it's split with the players and the club and stuff. Like they want the money. Like not everybody's messy on that team, Mo. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's Messi. I'm sure Messi pays for dinner on the road and stuff like that, but you know what I'm saying? So tomorrow we got Auckland and Boca. I saw today, guys, the Auckland team, we talked about him being the forklift driver, Cam. Their salary's $90 a week.
Can you, what? $90 a week? A week?
That's what they make.
That's less than an OHL player.
90, which is probably not less than AHL. It's less than someone who works at Burger King.
Oh, no, I said OHL. I said OHL players. They get money, they get like cash and
those kids are still making more than that. Yeah, those kids are making more than that.
$200. Like, oh yeah, they're making like $3-4. Like, what's going on here? Like, you're $90.
Those junior kids, they've upped the pot, Cam, because of the NCAA.
Yeah.
What are they making?
I think they about $1,000 a week now.
Yeah, the NIL is going to really impact CHL in coming years for sure.
Yeah. They're getting like $4,000 a month, free school, free food. Yeah, but it's about, I think it's like $4,400 a month type thing now, over $1,000 a week.
So that's minimum wage, basically.
Because that's what Bedard got. Bedard, yeah, because I remember it was like the greatest deal ever for the Regina Pats. They were paying Bedard $1,000 a week, selling all these tickets, you know?
Yeah, good call. Pats made a lot on the side there. Yeah, it's like, we like this deal. That's crazy. 90 plus.
Here we go at Oakmont. Let's start with the course. What do we know about this course? How long is the rough, and does course history come into effect for you this week?
The U.S. Open has always been billed as the most difficult test of golf there is on the planet. And I tell you what, it's often labeled as the most difficult golf course in the world is Oakmont.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
We don't want you playing here. Can you move positions? Do something else? He starts the season like 0 for 150, it felt like, and finally finds himself in a groove at the plate, hitting .272. 15 home runs on the season? Now he's shipped to San Francisco.
What is management going to do? Nobody who's paying you $313.5 million is going to hear anything from you. They'll figure out a way to get rid of you, and that's exactly what they did.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Every 5 days, it's really exciting when Skeens pitches, and it's terrible watching him pitch because every time he pitches, they don't score.
Having him hit the lineup probably would actually help when he pitches. There's no way to do it because you can't, but yeah, it's beyond frustrating. And the numbers will tell you, the books have adjusted.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Dialing it back to his old days with St. Louis and Arizona. Buy or sell, Goldie will finish top 7 in fantasy first baseman.
No, I'm going to say no. I think he'll fall off. Older player here, he'll be top 10, but not top 7 here. Top 10, I would say I'd buy it. Top 7, I'm going to say no here. I think he'll put up decent numbers here. Not as good as he was. I don't think he's going to bat 340, 350 all year long.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. My enthusiasm for tomorrow's soccer has waned a little bit after losing tonight. I'm like looking at them like, oh, God, all right. Here we go again. Auckland City. So they make $90 a week, their players, to play for them. They're playing the Boca Juniors, and we got one of these goal situations. Remember, Benfica, Bayern beat them 10-0, so they set the bar high on goal differential right out of the gate. Benfica got to 6. It wasn't easy. They were only up 1-0 at the half, but they scored 5 goals in the second because they knew they needed to score a lot. So now you got Boca rolling in here tomorrow. Now Boca needs to score 1 million goals in this game, and they're laying 5.5 as well against Auckland City. Just because Bayern beat them 10-0, that's kind of a rarity. It's hard to win by like 6-7 goals. Benfica got lucky. They got a penalty kick in like the 95th minute to get to 6, actually, and it was 5.5. So they barely got it. So that's the number there in the morning. You got Benfica and Bayern Munich tomorrow. And, I want to get to the other football here with Mo. So, it's confusing when you get into these groups and stuff like this. But Boca is still alive. Like, if Bayern Munich beats Benfica tomorrow, which could happen, probably happens,
it will happen.
Boca can – yeah, exactly, Mo. That means Boca could get through if they score 7 goals, bro, tomorrow. They got to win 7-0 tomorrow or more.
Yeah, Benfica history.
You think they do it?
Powers. Yeah, 100%. I think Benfica's going to lose. History has shown against the European powers in Champions League, they get smashed. Like they lose.
Yeah, look at FC Porto tonight, bro. They tied Cairo tonight, bro. Like this is a bad. The Portuguese league is getting embarrassed in this tournament.
No, they definitely are, and I just think that Boca, with the crowd support that they have, they've
don't
really
tell Portuguese Joe I said that, Cam, but they're getting embarrassed.
No, don't worry, he's quite aware. Trust me, he's not impressed. When Mom prays to the Benfica shrine, not a lot of love these days. Not impressed. The guys in the great. No, you're right, Gabe. Like it's a Portuguese league. It's just like, but then again, like what do you like? If you said it, the Germans though, that's what Bayern Munich does. Like these guys will show up at any tournament.
Yeah, remember
grade,
I said it, Bo. I told Cam before the
yeah.
tournament started. I said these guys will care. They're not going to mail it to Bayern Munich. Like
they're too professional.
But all the talk about all the big time powers don't care. Well, they're all still here. PSG advances plus 275 to win it all. Man City's look good, but Man City's they haven't played anyone good, so it's a little bit deceptive, but they have looked good. Plus 450. Bayern Munich was 7-1. Now they're plus 500. Real Madrid is now plus 550. Flamengo is 18-1. Juventus have looked good, but similarly, they play in a soft group. Inter Milan 20-1. They haven't looked good. Palmeiras is 20-1. Botafogo is 20-1. I took Dortmund at 25-1. They're sitting at 33-1. They haven't been very impressive. Chelsea are 25-1 right now.
They
all right, Mo Khan with us.
Right, Gabe? Like the Premiership.
Chelsea?
Look at Chelsea. Yeah, look at Chelsea. They've looked awful. And you said it. Man City hasn't played anybody. So, like no love. Like the Premiership hasn't been that great either.
Well, man, I could see Man City going far in this though.
Well,
that's the one team. Like I said.
The reason why they go far, guys, Man City, is because the new acquisitions, right? They're not taking guys like Kevin De Bruyne, who's no longer there, who's at Napoli, right? The guys are fresh legs that want to prove the point to Pep Guardiola that they can be a part of the rotation going towards August 5th. So really, this Man City team is young, but they are loaded with potential, and they could run this table here and get to the final and make a very happy Etihad supporter group to say, look, this team could definitely make noise in the EPL next season.
Oh, they'll want to win. Like you know what I mean? England hasn't won a World Cup, right? But I know it's not a World Cup, but Man City does want to win this. It'll be a nice feather in their cap. A lot of, it's been you know what, guys? I tweeted this out last week. This tournament, guys, been very similar to the Four Nations, right? I remember we were talking with the Four Nations. Mo was in Montreal, and I remember 2-3 weeks before, you're like, there's no buzz at all, and whatever, Yeah, what happened, right? And everyone said the same thing. Oh, it's a cash grab. It's dumb. What are we even doing here? And whatever. And then we saw what happened, and people were like, this is the greatest thing ever. And I see even all the bitter soccer people out there admitting, I was wrong. This tournament rocks. You know what I mean? It just does, right? And it'll only get better. It's been good, right? And it's been entertaining. I mean, hell, look at what the Brazilian fans are bringing to the table and stuff. But I brought up the Zegras trade earlier today, Mo. There's not a lot of great free agents out there, but there's a buzz about the Montreal Canadiens taking that next step now. They want a second line center, and, you know, they want to bring in this guy and that guy. I've heard Matt Duchene's name a lot, that Matt Duchene actually wants to play for the Canadiens. But what's the buzz with the Canadiens this week? What are they going to be able to pull off?
Well, I think, look, with the picks in the middle of the draft, right, is it really desirable? Because you look at Detroit, Buffalo, and teams above them from picks 10 through 14, they all want to get a second-line center, right? So really the market is going to be robust for buyers out there. But I think in this situation now for Montreal, for where they're at, given the cap space that they'll have freed up this year and next season, it's imperative that they come away with a 2C, whether it's going to be at the draft this week in LA or in free agent frenzy next Tuesday on Canada Day. I think for Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton, they've been very meticulous with the picks here. And whether they give away Xhekaj or Logan Mailloux or one of the guys in the system from a pool prospect here, they're going to have to pay up here, guys, because it is definitely going to be a seller's market to, you know, for a Matt Duchene or guys who might be under term to say, if you want us to give a player who's 23, 24 under term, well, you're going to give us multiple picks and some of your farm guys out there that are ready to play for us, whether it's this year or next year. And I think the Habs have that. But the question, though, guys, is that enough for them to make that jump up in that division? Because you got Florida, you got Tampa still in the window, Boston will be pesky, Detroit, Buffalo looking to take the steps up here, Toronto will still be in that conversation. So really, the timing of how the Habs have been from a perspective of hope and glory for future years, potentially speaking here, it could definitely be a tough road because of what they have to go through in their own division, let alone the Eastern Conference.
But that's why they have to be aggressive. They can't – listen, Canadian fans are a lot more positive than they used to be. But, you know, the modern young fan seems to just love everything they do. But you can't just sell. They're very similar to the Raptors. Although the Canadians were better than the Raptors. But the same with the Raptors. Like I was talking about, we'll hit the draft on the other side. But at some point, if you're Montreal, like you need to take the next step. It can't just be, oh, we're going to be good in a couple of years. It's like, no. You know, and if you look at the Eastern Conference, guys, you know, the Florida Panthers are still the Florida Panthers. They're going to be a tough team to beat. But it's pretty wide open in the East, actually. So Montreal has an opportunity to make some noise, I think.
Here we go at Oakmont. Let's start with the course. What do we know about this course? How long is the rough, and does course history come into effect for you this week?
The U.S. Open has always been billed as the most difficult test of golf there is on the planet. And I tell you what, it's often labeled as the most difficult golf course in the world is Oakmont.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
We don't want you playing here. Can you move positions? Do something else? He starts the season like 0 for 150, it felt like, and finally finds himself in a groove at the plate, hitting 272. 15 home runs on the season? Now he's shipped to San Francisco.
What is management going to do? Nobody who's paying you $313.5 million is going to hear anything from you. They'll figure out a way to get rid of you, and that's exactly what they did.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Every 5 days, it's really exciting when Skeens pitches, and it's terrible watching him pitch because every time he pitches, they don't score.
Having him hit the lineup probably would actually help when he pitches. There's no way to do it because you can't, but yeah, it's beyond frustrating. And the numbers will tell you, you know, the books have adjusted.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Dialing it back to his old days with St. Louis and Arizona. Buy or sell, Goldie will finish top 7 in fantasy first baseman.
No, I'm going to say no. I think he'll fall off. Older player here, he'll be top 10, but not top 7 here. Top 10, I would say yeah, I'd buy it. Top 7, I'm going to say no here. I think he'll put up decent numbers here. Not as good as he was. I don't think he's going to bat 340, 350 all year long.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Morency. So we were talking about the NHL and trades. So we've got the NHL free agent feeding frenzy set to begin. It's not a great class this year. It never truthfully is in the NHL. Like, let's just be real. Like, good players don't get to the market. Just being real. Like, I mean, if you're really good, you won't be on the market. It's rare that a player like Mitch Marner would be on the market, but the Leafs are really about to screw this up pretty good right now. And Mitch Marner, well, they already did when they tried to trade him. Right? Once they tried to trade him, it was over. Right? Like, the relationship was done. So the Boston Celtics just made a deal, though. So we got some NBA stuff going on here. The Boston Celtics are sending Drew Holiday to the Portland Trailblazers. Anthony Simons and 2 second-round picks go back to Boston. So the moving and shaking has begun. We didn't even get to the Durant stuff, actually. So Durant is a Houston Rocket as well. Mo, quickly on Durant, what do you think of the Durant deal and this deal with Holiday here? I'll just say that, look, Tatum's hurt. He's getting surgery. Boston's got a lot of cap issues and money issues. Yeah. They won the title. Holiday's a stud. They wouldn't have won without him. But they're not going to win the title next year. And one thing is about the Celtics, they are damn good, like, as far as their organization making moves. And whether it was Danny Ainge before that built the team or Brad Stevens that put it over the top, I would have confidence that they know what they're doing here, Mo. And it doesn't really make sense to keep Holiday and pay him, actually. So it's a pretty smart move by them. But what about Portland picking him up? Portland think they're good or something, or are they going to flip him? That's my bet. I'll say they're going to flip him.
They might flip him, right? Because, again, I think Portland's not ready.
Because he's a player that only helps a good team, guys. Like, why would he be on a bad team? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Portland's an upstart, right? They're not there yet. They're getting better, but they're not even close.
Sure. And at his age, he wants to probably go to a contender, right? And not be in Portland.
Like, he'd be good on the Lakers or the Mavericks or something. You know what I mean? Like, put him on a good team with other vets. You know what I mean? Sure. That's the type of guy he is.
But to your point with Boston, I think they want to clear cap space, create that flexibility, because with Brown and Tatum making $8 billion between the two of them, it's hard to keep a core roster in place. And I think they're not done. I think they'll be more active.
And Porzingis, who's always hurt.
Porzingis too, exactly. And that's for Durant. Look, he got what he wanted, right? He kind of forced the hand of Phoenix to kind of take what Houston was going to give to them. And now the Rockets get themselves a closer and a guy that can walk into that locker room. And you talk about his history with that coach staff and the management team. He's very close to those guys. So it works well. And I think this 1, maybe 2 year window could definitely pay off for Houston by going beyond the first round and being a deep playoff contender team next season. I think they have the second best odds behind OKC for next year's title, I believe.
Let's see here. I'm not buying it. Durant, like I said, these.
They're all right.
No, I'm not.
They're doing pretty good.
They're all right. They're all right.
They're there.
Teams win. You got to have like a sort of a team. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that team first concept to me. That's what wins titles, and we're seeing it on a yearly basis. So, quick check of the numbers: Oklahoma City plus 220, Cavaliers plus 750, Knicks 9-1. They're talking about Jenkins or Mike Brown to be the coach of the Knicks now. Rockets 10-1, Celtics. No way in hell the Celtics are winning next year. 13-1. Orlando Magic 13-1. Really?
That's the team to watch.
T-Wolves 4. Really, you're buying into that, eh? 13. Yeah, that's surprising. 13-1. All right. Me and Cam are surprised. Mo says, no, watch out for them. What are the Toronto Raptors? Going to shock the world. 150-1 Raptors. Sign me up.
150-1. The Rockets or Orlando? I'd rather, but the West is the West is tough.
I'd rather be Orlando because what they have to go through, right? That road is a lot easier. And you talk about Wagner, you talk about Banchero, and now bring in Bane. They have a core group. They're going for it, guys. You know, to bring in Bane and give up all that quality, they're going for it now. And I think they can definitely make noise in the East this season coming up.
West is tough.
What are you hearing about Davis Alexander? Alouette organization said it was just a precautionary measure not to put him back in the football game, that there's not a serious injury. And I don't know if we moved the number, but about half an hour ago, we were talking about CFL odds, and it was 2.5. And I said, I don't know why the Alouettes are only 2.5-point favorites. Now they're 3-point favorites against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Friday Night Football. What do you think about this game? Will it be Davis Alexander or Thompson starting?
Well, look, if he doesn't practice tomorrow, that's a big red flag that he won't be ready, because tomorrow will be the big prep day. We got Wednesday and Thursday, then they're traveling Thursday to Hamilton. If he doesn't practice tomorrow, then I don't think he plays, guys. But here's the thing, though. If the Owls beat the Ticats on Friday, you might as well give them the division, because there's no one that's going to touch them in this division right now. Toronto, Ottawa, and Hamilton are not in the same level as Montreal when it comes to quality and potentially going to the Grey Cup this year.
Well, that's why I said earlier. I think they'll beat them anyways, even if it's McLeod Thompson, Bethel Thompson starting. All right, good job, Cam. Good job, Mo. Thanks to all of our guests tonight and the crew. Other than that, you're on your own later.
Here we go at Oakmont. Let's start with the course. What do we know about this course? How long is the rough, and does course history come into effect for you this week?
The U.S. Open has always been billed as the most difficult test of golf there is on the planet. And I tell you what, it's often labeled as the most difficult golf course in the world.